Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Kevin is in the building. What's up, Kevin? KS. Anthony's in the building. What's up, y'all? How you feeling today? Welcome in. Welcome in. Bella Boss, Nobody 15. I appreciate y'all tapping in to the stream today. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. I appreciate y'all being here. Pedro's in the building. What's up, man? Let me double check a few things before we get rolling. Steve Lime's in the building. What's up? Ara, welcome in as well. I appreciate you being here. Y'all, thank y'all so much for joining the stream. If y'all are over on TikTok, Adonis in the building. What's up, Adonis? If y'all are over on TikTok, tap the screen, share out the live with a few people. Don't forget to send your harmony for the day. It does really help out the stream. We're going to get flowing here in just a moment. Let me update a few things here and get some things rolling, and then we'll get flowing here in just a moment. I appreciate y'all joining the stream. If y'all are coming in for the first time, let me know where y'all are joining from. Let me know if you make music, what kind of music you make. I appreciate y'all being here. Okay, let's see what's rolling here really quick. Marley's in the building. What's up, Marley? Welcome in, welcome in. It's gonna be a short live today, short and sweet. Let's get this moving over here. Got too many tabs open. Let's see what's going on. All right, we should be ready to go. K's in the building. BMO, welcome in. Kirsten's in the building. What's up, Kirsten? Welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Mick M3, I appreciate you hopping in, unless it's Mick Me, maybe. Let me know. I want to make sure, or MC Me, MC M3. Let me. There's so many different ways I could go about that. Orange, I appreciate you tapping in. Miguel, welcome in as well. I appreciate you joining the stream. Y'all tap the screen, share out the live with a few people. If y'all are coming in for the first time, let me know where y'all are joining from. Let me know if you make music, the kind of music that you make. I would love to learn a little bit more about what y'all are doing, who you are. And we're going to get flowing here in just a moment, and I'll explain the structure of the live stream here in just a little bit as well, as far as like sending in music, listening to music, and stuff like that. Let's see where we're at. Joseph's in the building. What's up, Joseph? Welcome in. I appreciate y'all being here. Keep tapping the screen. We'll get flowing here in a minute. I'm just updating a few things as we go. But y'all definitely let me know where y'all are coming from. Let me know if you make music, what you make. But let me get a few things. I got a couple people I got an update from yesterday. Toby's in the building. What's up, Toby? Good to see you, man. Big Mike is in the building. What's up, Big Mike? Thunder Dash is in the building, about to submit. Let's go. I got you. Mind Expansion, thanks for joining in. I appreciate you being here. Let's go, Toby. It's been a minute, man. Hope you're doing amazing. Thank you so much for joining the stream. What's up, Nikki? Welcome in, buddy. I appreciate you joining as well. Thank y'all for tapping in. I appreciate y'all joining the stream. Once again, I'll explain the structure of the live stream here in just a little bit. We'll get flowing here in a couple minutes. Just give me a moment to get a couple things updated, get the algorithm flowing, getting some things moving. Outnumbered, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome into Track Talk. Welcome to the family. Like I said, I'll explain the structure of the live stream here just once I get a couple things kind of rolling on the different platforms that we're live on, and then I'll let y'all know where to go. What to do, what we do here at Track Talk, so on and so on. Jeremy's in the building. James in the building. I appreciate you being here. Welcome into the stream. If y'all are coming in for the first time, Outnumber, you said you're here for the first time. Let me know where y'all are joining from. Let me know if you make music, the kind of music that you make, a little bit about you. We'll get flowing here in a second. Gringo's in here. What's up? Loa, welcome in. I appreciate you tapping in. Brax, I appreciate you being here as well. Hope y'all are doing absolutely amazing today. And then Thunder Dash, I think that was you. I'm pretty sure that was you over on the site. Let me double check. Pretty sure that was you. And actually, let me double check my list here and get this updated because it says closed. What's up, Jason? Welcome in. Welcome in. Boom, 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 boom. I'm joining from outside on your front porch. So creepy. This is so creepy, Toby. I just hear a knock on the door, like a horror movie. From the UK, shouts to the UK. I don't make music, just obsessed with music. I feel that. What do you think about? Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. Obviously legendary for a reason. I don't know if I listen to them a ton. I don't know if I listened to them a ton, but they definitely have made their mark for a reason. Okay, let me double check here. Like I said, Jill, it is going to be a short live today, short and sweet. I'm not going to be on for very long. I've just got too many projects, too many things that I'm working on right now. So a little bit shorter today. I was on for a long time yesterday. I was on for like 5 hours yesterday after my work projects for the day. So today's a little bit shorter. I'm just trying to catch up on some things and get some things in order. So I'm still kind of working out some of those kinks there. Okay, let me get this up and running. Let's go. All right, it's time to get into some music here in just a little bit. I don't have a music, but I have a song recommendation from the Philippines. What am I talking about? The Philippines. Philippines is hilarious. Philippines, by the Ridleys. Let's go. We're not listening to, just so y'all know, we're not listening to popular artists here. It says it in the text as you're coming into the live stream. We're not listening to a popular artist. I'll explain. I just need, I'm updating one more thing here over on Pro Tools, and then I'll get things rolling for us, and I'll let y'all know where to go. And then I'll get the line updated here in just a second as well. Let me bring these, Mr. Producer and CPV. I'm going to bring them down to previous just for a moment before I clear these. So actually give me a second to get these updated right now. We're not listening to popular artists, y'all. I'll explain the live here in just a second, but that's not what we're doing. Let me get this updated. Forgot to clear the line earlier. We're not listening to popular artists. If you keep spamming the chat with the same songs, I'll just mute you. And I don't want you to be muted. I want you to be able to participate. Ghost is in the building. I want you to be able to contribute. But if you, Decatones, thank you for the, you're awesome. I appreciate that so much. Okay. I think I got that updated. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to listen to like 4 or 5 tracks today. 4 or 5 tracks today. It's going to be short, y'all. It's going to be short and sweet. All right. Let's get into it. Let me go ahead and get things kind of rolling here. I'll get some of the line updated as we get going. Muted. Boom. Gone. Okay, really quick, for those of you, I'm going to give my spiel here before we get in. Austin, thank you for joining the stream. I appreciate you being here. Before we get into the music and start kicking things off, for those of you who have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the family. I appreciate you being here. If you have never joined before, what we do here at Track Talk are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen deep dive consultations on the structure of your music. This is not a quick review. There is no trash or pass. There's no ratings. There are no polls. This is strictly a deep dive, long form, multiple listen, in-depth analysis of the structure of your music, from your mix and master, production elements, sound design choices, lyric and song formatting, stuff like that. Like I said, it's not a quick review, none of that stuff. This is very long form. It's detailed. It's really, really in depth. The goal here is to offer some specific, professional, and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. Retrack, good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing amazing. Do you have to be a creator? Any genre, any level of preparedness, any level of quality. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to be a short live today, so just keep that in mind. For those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. It's what I've done for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist. So the structure of this live stream is kind of from that perspective. It's in that direction. I am not here to roast you. I'm not here to trash you. Simi, what's up? I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to tear you down, but I am also not here to hype you up and just get you exposure. If the algorithm takes off and you get fans of your music, fantastic, but it's not my priority. It's not the reason why I've structured the stream, and it's not the way that I've formatted things to optimize for that. The way that we build this, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. The way that we have built this out is just in order to go as deep as possible and really get into the nuances of what you're doing creatively and practically within the structure of your music. If you would like to submit your music for the consultations that we are talking about right now, which is going to be short and sweet, so keep that in mind. I'm going to be closing the line here fairly quickly. If you would like to submit for these consultations, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow all of the details there. We will get you up in the line. We'll get you ready to go. As a creator only, what do you mean by creator only? For my new single for the 8th of May. Yeah, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then read through and follow the details there. Please keep an eye on the line order and minimums on the other platform that we are live on right now. So we're live on 2 other platforms, the red app and the purple app. Use your imagination over there. We are live on those platforms currently. Over on that platform, you can see the full stream, but of course, you can also see the line order minimum, stuff like that. Once again, if you would like to submit your music, go to my profile, click on the link, read through and follow the details. If you're on the red app that we're live on right now, you can go to the description for the live stream. If you are on the purple app, you can type !submit right there in the chat. And let's see. Okay, let me double check really quick. Dude took a compression course. I finally get it. Let's go, Shade. Let's go, dude. I love it. That's awesome. I love it, man. Elijah, I'm looking for yours. I haven't seen yours yet. I have your email, but I don't have a full submission. So just please make sure that y'all check the line first and make sure that you do follow all the steps. If you do follow all the steps, I should get notified and I'll be able to get you right where you need to be. I believe DK, I got yours in order here. Let me double check. I'm trying to make sure that I remember and connect all the names. That's the thing I don't want to get confused on. So let's see. Is that you, Thunder? And is that also DK? Let me know. Zinger's in the building. What's up, Zinger? Retract. Thank you so much for the heart, me man. I appreciate it. You're DK, and are your initials MC? Because I'm looking at the payments. That's the payment that has come in. I just hopped on 10 minutes ago. Just 10 minutes ago. Okay, I got you. What do you want DK on there? Is that what you want? Because I'm seeing three different. That's where it gets confusing. I see three different names. I'm like, hold on, what's going on here? Okay, got you. DK's in the building. Let's go. Let's go. I'm excited, man. I got you up on the board. You ready to go? And let's get into the music. Like I said, it's going to be short and sweet today, like 4 or 5 songs. Keep an eye on the minimums. Keep an eye over on, don't mind, got rid of the board. Dude, the board hasn't been here in probably well over a year at this point, Toby. Well over a year. It's been a while. I still have it. It's on the other side of the room sitting empty. I still have it. I don't know why. It's bulky and takes up too much room in the studio right now. But anyways, keep an eye out on the line and stuff like that. I've been off TikTok for a long time. I was like, yeah, man, I've been in this studio for almost a year. And I haven't used the board since like halfway through being in the studio that I had in Dallas. So it's been a while, man. But it's good to see that name in here, though. It's good to see that name in here. It has been a while. Jules, welcome in. All right, last time before we hop into the music, if you want to submit and you're on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link, and then read through and follow the details. If you are on the purple app right now, starts with a T. Type !submit right there in the chat. If you're on the red app, starts with a Y and a T. Then you can go to the description for the live stream. You'll see everything that you need right there. We're gonna kick it off with DK. We just hopped on, Teb, so it's pretty open. And I'm only taking like 4 songs today, 4 or 5 songs. This track takes the listener on a journey through the ocean with several encounters. Here I wanted to immerse the viewer with deep visualization as they journey through the ocean. I'd like feedback on how well I capture the sing, the balance of instruments, and if the drums need to hit harder, especially in the intro. There's also a description on the SoundCloud itself. Let's get into it. This is The Kingdom Below Us by DK. Let me open up the track here. And then remind myself. Now, obviously, Thunder Dash Alternative. I've heard your stuff before. I'm nearly positive, several times, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, I remember your stuff. Go ahead and remind for people that haven't heard your stuff before. Remind them as well. Just let them know what you do. Let them know the role that you play. I've heard some of your productions and stuff before, so let other people know as well kind of the role that you play in your music so that Thundy the Griffin, that's right. Is this a different name then? Because I remember Thundy the Griffin. I think I've heard a couple of your songs. Is this like a new name, like an updated name? Beautiful. Yeah, of course. Jack Loris, 100%. FJ, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, most people send demos. Most people send early stuff. All right, this is The Kingdom Below Us, 85% complete. Thank you for the follow, FJ. I appreciate that so much. I'm an orchestral composer. I mainly do orchestral fusion. I remember the last track you sent me was wild work. The last one you sent was wild. It was pretty crazy. Okay, let's get into it. Yeah, that's right. Lots of tension in the intro here. Rob Black, welcome in. Let's go. Love the low pads, like the low synthesis as well. LSO, welcome in. Thank you for the heart me as well. I appreciate that. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Hold on. What's happening? Show some love. Show some love. Octavian, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Show some love to, I got to get the other name here, Thunder Dash Alternative. Let's get it. Y'all show some love. Let's dive in, man. I'm excited to get into this. This is called The Kingdom Below Us. It's still fairly fresh. They still have like 15, 20% they need to do in order to like balance it and get everything where it needs to be. So we're going to mainly dive into those elements of this as far as like balancing, mixing, there's some textural elements I want to bring up and maybe a couple little timing things that I want to address in here as well. But the overall sound stage I think is beautiful. It's cinematic, has a lot of weight to it. It feels heavy. It feels really impactful. So there's a lot about this that I feel that I really enjoy where it's sitting. And then there's some little polished details that for me will help it line up a little bit, punch a little bit more and have a bit more energy behind it. Octavian, we just hopped on. So it's fresh. We're open right now. If anybody would like to submit, you can go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow the details there. Check the line on the other platform. So over on either the red app or the purple app, you can see where the line, the order, the minimums, and everything are on right there. That way you can see everything that you need. There's a custom sounded program on the Chronos. Beautiful. Big Blue Whale, large. Yeah, hell yeah. I love it. 100%, Bill. 100%. And then 5 man, good to see you, man. The email will be tonight. It'll be tonight. I had to finish up a bunch of big projects this morning, and then I'll send you the final details this night. Thank you, 5 man. I appreciate you a lot. I appreciate that. But yeah, Octavian, excuse me, we're wide open, or not even necessarily wide open, but we're pretty open right now. Just because I'm not going to be on for very long. I'm going to take like 3, maybe 4 more songs, if even that. It's going to be short and sweet today. So if y'all want to submit, definitely submit sooner than later, because I'm not going to be, I've got a bunch of work I got to do, so it's not going to be for very long. But y'all show some love to Thunder Dash Alternative, which is Thunder Dash over on the red app if you see them over there. Once again, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, read through and follow the details, and we'll get you up in line ready to go. Let's get it. Let's run it from the top. Let's dive into a couple of these details here. Once again, this is The Kingdom Below Us. Let's get it. One of my gut reactions to like even just the intro here again, one of the main things like you mentioned in the emails, like talking about balancing and structure and stuff like that. So that's a lot of what I want to address. One of the things early on that I'm kind of running into here is just a lot of mud, especially built up below like 600, 700 hertz, like the low mids and the lows. There's a lot of information there, right? Some of that can be beneficial. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. Thank you for the heart me as well. Some of that can be beneficial, right? Like if you're trying to build intensity, then obviously having a lot of information in a particular range can be helpful to building some of that, emphasis and intensity. But it can also just kind of drown things, and no pun intended, based on the song. It can just kind of place a bunch of things underwater and make it feel just like a ball of, you know what I mean? Just like a ball of noise hitting you from 100 to 700 hertz, right? In this case, that's a little bit of what I'm running into. I want the impact, like I want that sharpness, I want the impact, I want the pressure that's building early on in this production, but I'm running into a lot of low mud between like your low pads, your low string, your low bass that's in there, like some of the spiccatos that you have a little bit lower as well. I would get into tasteful filtering. Evening, man. It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing today. Thank you for the Go Populars as well. I appreciate that a lot. I would get into a lot of these different synth and string sections that you have down there and do some tasteful filtering out where you can clarify and separate some of these elements. I wanted the grand intro, and that's exactly why I'm saying this, because what's going to happen is if you keep all of the mud there, for one, it's going to rob you of some headroom. You're going to get a bunch of frequency buildup, and you're going to struggle to get like loudness and energy out of the intro. The more that you create like separation and clarity and energy between these different elements, the more that you will experience all of them in their space, and you'll get more impact, more vibrancy, and more energy out of it. That right there, the melody sits in that low mid area. And right now I'm not hearing what's going on because you're just getting that ball of sound right there, below 600, 700 hertz. So that's why like I'm going to run it back here really quick. If you want it to be grand, then you need better separation and better clarity out of these elements because there's not a lot of that going on. And so you just kind of experience this at the bottom that is not allowing any of the actual full expansion I think that you're looking for. So if you want impact and you want it to be grand like you're saying, then make sure that you are leaving space for separation, because the more that there is, what's up Aiton, welcome in, the more that you create separation between all of these different elements, the more that you hear them and experience them in the mix, which means they're going to be more impactful, more energetic, and more grand in the form that you're kind of talking there. I'm gonna say Felix, what's up Felix, welcome in. Appreciate how much you're on your business on this app. No, but thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm largely on here to do my thing, and then I'm out. I'm locked in. Let me see. And it's played by. Sorry, I'm reading all the different chats, and it's played by ensembles rather than solo instruments. Yeah, so just be careful of how these different instruments relate to each other in the mix, right? So if you like, imagine it this way. Let's say you have one string. I'm just making this up, right? You know what you have in your track, and you can kind of address it accordingly. But let's say that you have one string plugin, right? And you're just playing like low string pads, but that string pad that you have in there is representative of like 16 players or something like that, right? Then you have like a lead melody that's another string plugin, but it's like a quartet. So you get another 4 right there, but you have it doing 2 different melodies, doing a couple. No, we're open, Aiton. They're doing a couple different lines in there. So it's actually 8 players, right? And then you bring in another like middle string that's doing spiccatos, and that's like another 16 players. So you have stabbing in, right? And then you have a bass, maybe a couple synths, maybe another pad. You have all of these things that are at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I've actually added 40 of the same instrument doing slightly different things, but without really any compartmentalization in the mix of where they're going to sit, right? How they're going to be positioned. They're just all coming at you from the same place all the time, right? They're all big, they're all wide, they all have a lot of energy. So then you lose, like you said, you're using ensembles, which means you have a lot of players, a lot of articulations of these strings with every plugin that you've added to do these different, melodies and pads and chords and stuff like that. So if you're using a lot of ensembles instead of solo instruments, you're dealing with a mass amount of instruments per ensemble that you're adding, if that makes sense, right? It's like adding 4 different choirs, but in string format, right? So if you're gonna do that, we need to make sure that there's space for all of those different elements to coexist in the mix. And that's one of the things that you're running into here, where you're getting a lot of all this different mud and movement. And I hear some really interesting like chromatic notes in there and some like diminished notes in there that are really interesting, but they just sound muddy because of how much energy there is filling that same space because of the 40, 50 different technical articulations and players that we have doing a similar thing in the mix. So that's the first thing that I would address, because I do want this to feel wide and powerful and impactful. And part of the way that you're going to get that is being able to hear and distinguish the elements of your mix. So that's one of the first things I would address. But yeah, Aiton, we're open. This is our first song, actually. I'm only handling a couple today. It's gonna be like 3 or 4 songs. But yeah, we're still open. There's a lot that I like about what you're doing now. What's up, Yaka? Welcome in. Thank you for the figure hearts as well, Dan. I appreciate you. There's a lot that I really like about your sound design. Again, another part of this is then introducing ensembles of brass, right? So then we have a brass section, which is 12, 12 more players playing there, layered with another brass. Like you're playing, I mean, think about it this way, right? Like in this case, if I play this chord, and I play this right here, right? This is one instrument playing these. But if you have an ensemble plugin that is 20 brass players playing this huge line, and you play 20 here, and you play all this, now we have 120 players that are doing this chord right there. Does that make sense? Like when you're adding ensembles, you're adding a ton. When you're working on like cinematic music and scores and stuff like that, you have to kind of keep in mind what preset of that plugin you're using and how it is actually introducing yourself. Yeah, it's the full brass section. So every time I play one note, you're playing right here, 100%. Once you play one note right here, the C is 12 trombonists, and 8 trumpets and whatever, whatever, a bunch of stuff, and 4 tubas at the bottom, right? You play one note and that's what's happening. You got 20 things happening. So if you all of a sudden we all of a sudden just heard 80 people playing. That's on top of the 50 people playing strings and all of the timpanis, right? That's where it gets muddy and it gets busy. So that's where I would, again, tasteful filtering, tasteful choice of preset as you build it, right? Like there's so many little details to this. It's like, so when I'm like building a string section or something like that, I need to be aware of like, if I'm playing low pads and there's going to be 12 cellists and violinists and violas and stuff playing this line, I might need to keep those lines pretty simple and slim down the selection for lead elements to a quartet or maybe a couple solo violas or, violins or something like that handle some of those lead elements. So it's not always 80 things happening at the same time. I got to try to figure out how best to plug your stream when I go. Dan, you don't have to do that, man. I appreciate that. That's a lot of love. Once again, love your progressions, love what's actually happening here. This comes down largely to like sound selection and what you do with that sound selection. That is going to determine your balance. So when we're talking about like this, I don't want you to just like turn down these strings and re-EQ this over here. You can, that's possible. This comes down to like why you're selecting the sounds that you're selecting and how they manifest in the mix. And one of your questions was the percussion there too. You definitely can beef up the percussion. Right now, since it is a bit muddy, especially in the mid-lows and stuff like that, you're losing it a little bit. You might clarify just by changing some of what you're already doing, as we talked about with like the different articulations and different stacks and stuff like that. But I also think that you can push that forward. I do think that you can also like bring your percussion up probably 3 or 4 dB and give it a little bit more life, a little bit more of a driving factor in this mix. Did you hear I played a 4/4 over the 6/8? Yeah, you start to hear like some triplets that kind of are coming in and some like syncopations that are coming here, are coming in at the very end right here as well, which I think is awesome. There's a lot, like I said, sonically, there's a lot of things I really enjoy about this. I think it's really cool. It's always, anytime I hear your stuff, I enjoy it. I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool. So this is just about clarity. This is just about getting as much impact out of your mix as possible. Okay, let's go section 2 here. Let's go, Aiton. I got you, Aiton. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Hello, I make some songs, and I wonder what non-Norwegians think about the quality. Well, you are in the wrong place because I'm Norwegian. I am technically. My last name's Torvik. Torvik is it's about as Norwegian as it gets. What's up, Kale Penny? Welcome in. I don't live in Norway, and I've never been, but it's just ironically you came to the one stream that is the most Norwegian last name that you can have, like named after the fjords. Okay, sorry. Let's get to the next section. But all of that to say, I would love to hear your music. Just if anybody would like to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow the details there. Check the line first on the other platform. It is a limited live today. I'm gonna maybe listen to like 2 or 3 more songs, and that's it. So just keep that in mind when y'all are sending in your music and checking the line. Nice little bell movements in here in the background too. Again, a lot that I really like about this. Okay, let's see. Let's double check here. I'm gonna back it up here a little bit. There's a couple little lines in here that I would either retrack, because there's a lot that I don't think you might have like a click track, but there's a lot that I think you're not really quantizing, which is love it. I'm a fan. Like I am doing less and less and less quantizing and stuff like that. I really enjoy playing the instruments and building the tracks. So I've been doing a lot less surgical corrective stuff. And so I am a fan of not quantizing, if it makes sense. Still have to be fairly in time within reason, right? So there's a couple little lines in here. You'll hear the piano. It'll have quite a bit of an off note here. Let me see. Right there, you get almost a swing, right? Which is not typical of the rest of the structure. There's a couple parts where it's fairly late in there. So just double check. Yeah, using the metronome all the time, but maybe not necessarily quantizing to the metronome or to the grid with a lot of this, maybe percussion used to lower and bass and synths and stuff. But it sounds like there's a couple elements that aren't quantized, and or it's been quantized. Like maybe the piano has been quantized, but it's quantized to like 30-second notes or something like that. Like maybe it's quantized to, depending on your BPM, like 16ths or 30-second notes. And so all of a sudden you get dun, 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 dun. You get this little bit of a syncopation here, minor, right there. You get that little dun, 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 little swing right there. That syncopation is not typical of any of the rest of the production, which is a 4/4 move on the piano. Maybe, but just check it. Just check it in the way that you have it. If it is quantized, check it in the way that it's quantized, and make sure that you just don't have one note, because it's not everything else. You're still playing pretty much like on the structure, like pretty much on the grid. Everything's like really aligned. And then you have one little jazzy syncopation in there, which to me is off of most of what's happening. So it feels a little out of place. And at least in just my personal opinion, doesn't like represent the kind of, you're talking about the choral and the whole visual that you have attached to this, where it doesn't like represent the smooth and ease that you have for the rest of the production. So tiny little tidbits like that, I would just like correct, maybe bring it back onto being in line with some of the other like timpanis and bells and stuff that you have in the background. That was off by a little, yeah. Double check that. A couple little spots like that. I think in maybe the brass early on in the piano. So just go back through, double check some of the grid there, and make sure things are lined up. Love the dynamics though. Dynamics are amazing. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. That means a lot. Nice build up, good dynamics, move to the trills and the tremolos and stuff like that. Like again, a lot of great things that I like about this. Great hits. Great switch right there. What's up, Roy? Welcome in. Absolutely. Yeah, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow the details there. Just make sure that you check the line first, because it's a short live today, so minimums are a little bit higher. Love the low synths here too, overdriven. Okay, so let's talk about a couple quick. Yeah, the humpback is coming in, right? All this fun stuff. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, if y'all want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, read through and follow the details. Check the line on the other platforms that we're live on. There's a couple little things here. Like I said, I love the synthesis. I love bringing these like low rolling pads. Those are beautiful. They're warm. They're heavy, especially as this is balanced more and mastered to where you get some loudness out of it. I think is beautiful. Yeah, it's a custom synth that you made. And then this high lead where you're following some of those higher melodies, overdriven, bunch of delay and reverb. I love it. It feels eerie. It feels, dark and moody. I like it. All that stuff I love. For me, personally, this is just taste, just personal opinion. The choir pulls me out of that a little bit, right? Excuse me. If I am imagining a world, again, I'm going off your vision and your email too, so there's some things that might not make sense to some people, but when I'm imagining like this world underwater and all of the stuff that you're describing, the like human choir stab coming in kind of randomly in this next little section right here pulls me out of that world for a second. I would almost rather hear kind of filtered, like cut off low, filtered down, modulated and phased pads that give me this sense of like the warbling of being, there's some of this in there. So I like what you have there. The warbling of being underwater and a couple other, Paramore's the best. Paramore's amazing. I would love to see Paramore live. I think, just ADHD, got distracted on the other chats. I think Haley Williams is one of the best modern female rock vocals of all time. I think she's amazing. Anyways, back to the thing. I would love to hear more of that warbled underwater, filter that where you have a little bit of in here, but maybe not a couple other elements that feel a little bit more liquid in the way that they're presenting in the mix and presenting in the production. Hearing the choir like brings me back above water, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like it brings me back up here and it feels like a plugin. Like it feels like hitting the choir with the chord. And for me, I want to take as much of that kind of artificial, artificial nature out of it. I want it to feel warbled and underwater and stuff like that. You could filter it, but for me, it's also what it's doing in the production structure. For me, distracts a little bit from the space that you've given this, which I really like. So like when I'm thinking about this being synced, or I'm thinking about this going to visuals, when I'm thinking about this like in some sort of an environment, the choir to me, personally speaking, you can leave it there. You could keep it exactly as it is if you want to. Personally, for me, it's a little bit distracting from these other really cool elements that you have. So in my opinion, I wouldn't have the choir. I would replace that with some, you could also change the vowel, replace it with other filtered, modulated, like a little bit of LFO too. Like the MS-20 does a great job of some of this stuff too, but like filter modulation and like LFO to give it some of this, you know what I mean? Like little modulations in pitch and modulations in amplitude, I think would be really interesting with some of the sound design that you already have here in replacement of the choir. Midnight Fury, what's up, Midnight Fury? Good to see you. Because I like all of this space, and I like long delay tails, really reverberated, heavy pads underneath. But the you know what I mean? Like that, it's very re-triggered Rompler sample, if you know what I mean. Like I have a back behind me, I have a Insonic SQ1 Plus, right? Which is a great like Rompler from like 1989, 1990. Like even like that's kind of what it reminds me of like an old like 90s like sampled choir stab, that it just feels artificial in the way that it kind of has introduced itself in the mix. I wouldn't have something like a choir like that there. It would be better having maybe a more like solo. You have some of the solo leads in there, something like that. I think like right now it pulls me out of this underwater world and puts me in like, I don't know, like Roman war world or something. Does that kind of make sense? Like that feels a lot more like dramatic and medieval or something like that than it feels like underwater soundscape, which is what a lot of this is representing. That's kind of what I'm listening for. There's no right or wrong answer to that. It's just what's crossing my mind. So take it with a grain of salt. Love the build up again. I do like there's a little like chromatic lift that you do for each one. I think the dun 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 dun. That little movement right there is really nice too on some of those like spiccatos that you have a little bit higher up. I don't think they happen every time, but there's a couple of them in there and they sound interesting. Let's go. It's a really cool production. It's really, really dynamic. Y'all show some love to Thunder-Alternative. That's called The Kingdom Below. So yeah, as with the way that I approach 99% of the way that I make and mix music and stuff like that, it's making sure everything's pointed in the same direction, from your production structure, the mix of it, your sound design choices, the balancing, whatever it may be, right? The way that you affect and process things, making sure that it all points in the same direction and is all respecting the early vision of your song. And the song doesn't start taking on a life of its own that's separate from the vision that you have, but it feels in line. It feels like the vision that you have and the perspective that you have over the record is what is being created by your production structure. So we talked about some balancing things in there, some kind of some opening up of the mix, especially in the low mids. You can address that fairly easily as well. But those are some of those details that I would dig into. And then some of maybe the sound design choices in the middle and late part of the song, and just kind of see what works well for you there. But y'all please show some love to Thunder-Alternative. I love what you do so much. I think it's incredibly, incredibly well done. You're a very, very talented composer and producer. I like the insinuation of the whales here. 100%. I agree. Let's keep it rolling. Really quick, if y'all would like to submit your music, I'm only going to take probably 2 or 3 more songs. It's short and sweet today. If you want to submit your music, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow the details there. Keep your eye out on the line and the minimums and stuff like that over on the other apps that we're live on, the red and purple apps. You can always see the line, the order, and the minimum over there. Let's keep it rolling. We've got Aiton in the building. Can you feel this? I believe this is new to me, if I'm not mistaken, or at least I don't know this name. Let me know, Aiton. Aiton, you know the deal. Catch you next time, man. I appreciate you so much. This is Can You Feel This by Aiton. I believe it's my first time hearing it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And let's get into it, man. System Dreams of You. Hello. I appreciate you topping it. Not new. Oh, I have heard this. Maybe the name is just new to me. Or I just am not remembering every name of every song, which is also completely valid. All right, let's run it from the top. Oh yeah. The name is new. The name was fresh to me. That's why I thought. I was like, oh, now boom. Now I know what's going on here. All right, talk to me about some updates on this stuff like that. Let's see where we're at. I know this has been excuse me, this has been one of those pain point songs. I have so many of these productions like this where it's like, man, something doesn't fit right. It doesn't quite do what you want it to do, and it can be so incredibly frustrating. Ben Musa, first time here. I appreciate your Yamaha DX21 vids. Thank you so much. I appreciate you tapping in over on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. If you haven't already, check out the new DX7 video. I just posted the DX7 video because I just got it in a couple weeks ago. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's one of my favorite new synths that I have right now. Probably have another synth coming in maybe next week or the week after as well. Super excited about that. I've got to get a new rack actually for this back wall because I'm running out of rack space. What's up, Danielle? Good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing today. But yeah, I still have the DX21 is actually on the ground over here. I'm selling it. So if you want a DX7, let me know. Just pay for shipping. The thing's heavy as hell. But I have a DX21 that I'm selling now that I have the DX7. It just has a lot more versatility and sound design building and stuff like that. But yeah, anyways. How does this work exactly? System Dreams, these are 20 to 30 minute consultations. They're long, they're deep dives. Artists, producers, musicians, engineers, session musicians, they send in their music, their song, their instrumentals, whatever it may be. And we spend about 20 to 30 minutes breaking it down, talking about the mix, production, sound design, lyric, and song formatting. We get into the details, we get into the weeds. We listen to the song multiple times to really dive into those details and offer some professional and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. If that sounds fun, feel free to chill out in the live today. It's going to be a short live today. I got like 2-3 more songs, and then we'll be hopping off after that. That is all we do. HNXWZQ. That's all we do. This is not for popular artists. People have come in with like a following, and people have come in with some streams and stuff like that. But these are 20 to 30 minute long form detailed consultations on the structure of your music. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. But yeah, it's all non-popular, underground, independent artists, stuff like that. Okay, we'll check the DX7. Thanks. First time experimenting with FM. Yeah, FM is different. I programmed sounds on the DX21, and it's not like it's hard. It's menu diving, right? Like it's just the menu diving that is so frustrating about like these old 80s. Like the DX7 that I have, I think based on serial numbers from like 1984, I believe. The earliest versions, it's still a Mark I. It's just there's some, small versions over time, but it's still a Mark I. It's not a 2D or an S or anything like that. But those early versions came out in 1983. The first ones, I think serial numbers like 1984 off the line for this one. And those screens it's a tiny, it has MIDI. It's a tiny little screen like that's this big, and you gotta dive into so many, just all the operators, all of the just the building blocks of the sounds. It is just tedious. Like it's not that hard. It's just tedious to dive through everything and create some stuff. So I need to get some. I have the original presets, of course, on the DX7. I need to get some cartridges so that I can start creating a lot of my own and not worry about messing up what's going on there. All right. Anyways. All that aside, let's get into A10. Once again, if y'all want to submit, we've been saving our first live stream for something like this. We can tell it. Hey, nice, let's go. But yeah, if you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow the details. But please check the line first on the other platforms. That way you can see where the line order minimums are. All right, starting from the top. That's a better cross stick. That's different. That's different than the last one for sure. It's way better. Way more transient, way more slicey. Way better. Bass is a little more distortion on the bass. It's a little beefier. Way better. Memphis, welcome in. It's way better. A couple other fillers you added in here too. What's up, Nathan? Welcome in. Silex, thank you for the follow. Nathan, thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate it. This section, though, this section's gorgeous. Yeah, that feels clean. Transition is great. Love the percussion on this as well. Yeah, like the percussion with this almost like FM marimba kind of style lead and stuff sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. I'm Nathan. If you want to submit, everything's at my profile. If you click on the link. Nice swing. What's up, Ben? Welcome in. Almost DX7. Almost DX7-ish. This just depends on the interface that makes sense to you. It's kind of different for everyone. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love to A10 Music Productions right here in the chat. incredibly talented musician. He knows what he's doing. Let's run it from the top. Let's dive into some details. I'm going to try to move at a good pace today. Just I got a lot I got to do, which is why we're short and sweet today. So let's run it from the top and let's get into some details here, and we'll dive into a couple things. I know this song has already kind of been through the ringer. Huge improvements already in the structure of the percussion there. That's a massive improvement. You have a lead. I can't tell if it's like an organ or like a high Rhodes or EP or something that you have in there. It might even be like a B3, like, or something like that. Just really direct. It's really direct. That needs to come down probably 3 or 4 dB. I like what it does when it does it, but it's very forward and it jumps out of a very it is a B3, perfect. It jumps out of a very like controlled, between the brass and pianos and percussion and bass that are working really well together over the course of like the main hook right there. That really leaps out of the mix because it's so resonant. It has a natural ring and resonance to it. So when it's doing that, it just leaps out of the mix. It's very, very clean. So you probably pull that back by 3 or 4 dB and just settle it back into the production. I think that'll make it feel a lot more the IK Multimedia B3 plugin. Have you tried? And it sounds great, dude. I'm not a plugin snob in any way. You can use whatever works and whatever sounds good. The Universal Audio B3 with the Leslie is awesome if you ever have a chance to use it. The Leslie sounds awesome with that. It's really cool. You can also like run it through, I think, like a Fender amp and some other stuff and distort it and give it some of that growl. It's a great plugin. It's a great interface for it. I like it a lot. Anyways, so that little portion right there, we can kind of just bring it back under control and rebalance it in the mix. Also, this last transition is such an important transition. The boom, 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 boom. That last little section right there is so important here. And you're relying on a high resonant B3 in the bass to transition the whole thing. For this one transition going into like the climax of the song after a really cool, almost like lo-fi little portion of the song right here, I would use the piano and brass on that transition and get a nice, instead of waiting for the boom, ba-da, and having the big brass stabs later, I would dun, 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 boom, and hit it really hard right here on this transition. And bring in the bum, 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 ba-da. Like just add in like 3 or 4 more notes. Do the dun, 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 dun. If you have that with the brass, especially piano, maybe on the walk down, but brass on the transition, bum, 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 ba, ba-dum, and then move from there. It's just so much more life on that transition. Makes it dramatic, right? That makes it like really, really dramatic of a transition. Way more dramatic as far as like your dynamics go right there. That's just one little thing is like, that's such a good, what you're doing is so good. The transition is so cool, but it's soft because all you have is an organ and a bass walking up right there or walking down, dun, 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 and then transitioning. So if you beef that up a little bit, way stronger transition, I think you'll be in a good space. And then just, rebalancing the organ a little bit, maybe a couple other things, but let's talk to it. Those are the main things, so we can breeze through this a little bit faster. But I think those are the bullet points right there as far as kind of what I'm looking for. I try sidechaining the bass. This is on YouTube, which I know you're floating around too. I try sidechaining the bass versus the organ chord buses with each other's, or alternatively, dynamic EQ for my ears has a lot of hidden space in the stereo field that is not used. Could be much wider. Yeah, anybody. I mean, even just like, excuse me, even just like tasteful mid-side stuff on maybe like a very specific bus, like the brass would be really nice, really wide. So maybe like a brass and synth bus that you do some mid-side processing, like where that organ is sitting in the middle of the mix or closer to the middle right there. You can empty out a little bit and push to the outside, give it some energy there. There's a lot of little tasteful things that you could do that would be interesting. Katana, thank you for the follow. I think it needs more reverb. I don't love reverb for this. Not necessarily, because most of this I want to feel pretty dry and forward and connected. So I don't think necessarily more reverb. That would just be on specific elements that you feel like you want to set into space, like maybe the organ when it's doing some of those movements, but I also want your hits to hit. So don't necessarily feel like it needs more reverb. I think that's a taste thing and it kind of depends. Most of this is filled out just by default of the production structure you have. Feels really vibrant, feels really energetic. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Once again, if anybody would like to submit your music, if you're a producer, artist, musician, vocalist, songwriter, whatever it may be, and you would like a 20 to 30 minute multiple listen deep dive consultation, go to my profile, click on the link, read through and follow the details, check the line on the other apps that we're live on, the purple and red app. You can find it at my link as well. Check the line and then we'll get you up on the board. But yeah, everything happens at my profile. I love this kind of, this almost sounds like kind of like also looking for a singer for this. Let's go, Nicole. Good to see you. Sorry, almost missed it on the chat bar right there. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing tonight. They're looking for a singer. If you're a singer, tap in with Aiton. Tap in with Aiton. But I like this, almost feels like down-tuned, like old sample. Like this reminds me of like the ASR 10, like down-tuned samples and stuff like that on those old, like, vintage synths. Like that's kind of what this reminds me of. Like it feels kind of low and dirty and gritty and kind of like 8-bit a little bit. I like that. I like that this feels a little down sampled and feels like it's got this really like crunchy, gritty energy to it. I think it sounds great in this intro. Yeah, those are cool. I would love to. I have the SQ1 Plus, but it doesn't do what the ASR 10 does. Like, I think that's about as much reverb as you need. That's about as much reverb as you need on a track like this. On that snare. Let's go. That's cool. I like it. Shout out to Logic, man. So like same thing right here. We have this, it's a great lead-in line, but there's no weight to it. It's kind of, it's very light at the top right there. And you have, like you have this big fill and this like cool energy transitioning right there. And then a very like light, airy, just kind of whispering the transition right there. I would love for the bass to follow that melody. I mean, the bass could follow that melody easily right there, like you do a little bit later. Or like bring in the brass. Like maybe the brass does that transition only on the transitions. Like I think like most of the other times you do that melody, you keep it a little bit drier. I think that's perfect. I don't want it to happen every time, but maybe on your low dynamic to high dynamic moments every time, you add in the brass in order to create a little bit of strength and a little bit of impact to the transition. It's just a little soft for what you're doing and what it's supposed to do in the structure of the mix. Love the brass. And there's the organ again. Da, 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 da. I love what it's doing. It's just, it jumps out of the mix a little bit too much. I'll just connect it a little bit. Before the second and final choruses, yeah, this first one for sure, like here. All you hear is doo, doo, doo. It's really soft. I would bring in brass right there to really impact the chorus right there, because you still keep all of the brass in the chorus. So I do think that like right there, this is the first chorus. I would have it knock in, and then I'll get to the second one. This feels a lot more connected. Welcome in over to the Purple app. I appreciate you being here. Same thing. Bum 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 bum. Like that's like I want to hear all the brass right there on those transitions. You can't have like a big drum roll like that and without some energy behind the actual walk that happens. So same thing. Second hook as well. I would love to feel a little bit more energy and support behind that breakdown. I think that'd be really, really helpful. But everything else feels a lot closer. There's still some space. There's still some space for things to open up a little bit. To get a vocal on here, you can remix a bit with some vocal, or it can be once a vocalist buys it or you use it or however that works out, it can be sent to an engineer to structure it really well. But I think like what you have here feels way better balanced. It feels way better balanced. You can open things up over time as well. Adi, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. But yeah, there's some of those elements in there that I think, can use some clarity. But I do think you're doing a lot of things right. I just want to make sure your transitions are as strong as possible, and they're doing what you are putting them there to do, as opposed to them like kind of being there, but they're not really transitioning those dynamics with any strength. Nice little swing, nice and open. See all the, all of that right there. that you hear like from the organ at the top range right there. That's the stuff that I think needs to take a backseat a little bit, where it's mudding things up in the mids and high mids right there, which again, if you're going to get a vocal on here, that's some of that same space. So I do think bringing some of those like high, really resonant features of the production right there, those can pull back a little bit for sure. So Yucca said the attack on the brasses could be a tad faster way to make them sound more intentional. It somewhat feels they're kind of insecure when they sound like they do we come in or not. Yeah, I mean, I can see kind of going either way. The whole production itself is a little bit kind of filtered and softer in some ways and a little bit saturated. And so it is actually the Rhodes. Okay, got you. Then that element there can be definitely come back a couple dB, at least on the hook itself. I can see that going either way. One way that you could accomplish a little bit of that would be compression as well. If that is just what the VST is, like if that's just the sound that it has for that particular stack of brass, then some like tasteful, like slower, like mid attack, nice slicey, punchy compression. A 76 would be great for that. Could give you a little bit of drive and a little bit more like transient response from from the compression on the stack of brass and stuff like that. I don't know if it feels the most necessary to me, especially if we want there to be more space for a vocal. Kind of depends on the direction this ends up going. Love all this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. A cool feature moment right here, and then build up, bum, 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 ba-dum, like right there, dun dun dun, ba-dum. That's where we need more of that energy, more attack, more of that like brass structure right there on your transition, supported by the bass, supported by all these different elements here. Better reaction. Let's do pop punk. Better reaction. And this isn't a reaction, Kurt. This isn't a reaction channel. It's not a review. So if that's what you're looking for, that's not what we're doing here at all. These are 20 to 30 minute consultations on the artists and producers and musicians that send in their music. So we're not like just specifically listening to a style or a popular artist or anything like that. These are detailed breakdowns specifically of the songs that people send in for a consultation. But yeah, it's not a reaction channel. It's not a rating channel or something like that. It's a really, really detailed. Yeah. I finally got you on live again. Bradford's in the building. What's up, Bradford? Good to see you. And thank you for the love you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the gifts. It's good to see you in here. I appreciate you hopping in. Yeah, that like high Rhodes movement right there. That's where you're very patient, Torvik. I love the stuff, man. I love the stuff. I'm gonna back it up here just a little bit. Yeah, like that. Like, dun 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 dun. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. Those little moments right there. That's where like we can pull that back. I also do think that there is good space for a vocal here. So there's a part of me that's like, can we shift this again? Shift it again right here. But I think like if there is a vocal that ends up coming into play, then there is plenty of space for that to evolve, plenty of space for like them to stack a vocal again, have a higher ad lib with like a really nice like soulful vocal at the top right there. There's plenty of space right there. And so I'm like, actually, I think you're good. You add some elements already. I think you're in a good spot as far as like the dynamics go there, especially if you get a vocal. And can you play my request song? Is there a chance? Yeah, if you want, dude, 100% Bradford. Exactly. That's what I'm imagining. Just a boisterous, soulful vocal. If you would like to submit, Kurt, you can. It's not, like I said, it's not request. These are detailed consultations. So if you do want a detailed consultation, that's what we're doing. They're 20 to 30 minutes a piece. There are multiple listens. So we're going to dive into the song really, really in depth, but this is for your music or music that you represent, music that you played a part in. MBD Brown, welcome in. It's good to see you. Same place that you sent it in. Same place that you sent it in. So you'll see the email right there in like the middle or towards the top. So if you're at my profile, click on the link and then just in the details right there, you'll see the email that you send the song to. Let me get into the outro here really quick. how direct that feels? Love it. Love it, love it. I'm a fan. I mean, we've talked about this production quite a bit. I really, really like the format of this production. I've heard different versions of this production quite a bit already, but I'm really, really excited for the way that you're building this out and for the way that it's evolved since I first heard it. The percussion has evolved dramatically, man. So incredibly. Yeah, if you want to, so here. Yeah, follow that bum, bum, bum. Like, yeah, we need more of that dynamic on those transitional elements. Bum, 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 to give it, a lot of energy, a lot of impact, a lot of just, drive and energy, especially like in the outro and your transitions. That's where it's missing some of those dynamic elements, and it definitely needs that support, definitely needs that energy. So anytime that you're like, man, this is a transition that matters, make sure it's supported by the production. It doesn't feel hollow in any way. That's kind of the way that I would look. Y'all show some love, man. Show some love. That is the family. That's the family. Everybody go follow A10 Music Productions. He's amazing. He's looking for vocalists. So I need y'all to tap in. If you're a vocalist in any style, he does a lot of different stuff. He's a very versatile producer and composer, and he's very talented. So please show some love to A10. We love and adore you, man. Appreciate you so much. Let's keep it rolling. We've got MBD Braun in the building. Subtitles band, welcome in. You're right on time. Like I mentioned before, y'all, I'm only taking like probably one more song after this one. I need to update this. Hold on. So like one more song after this one. If you want to submit, this will be your last chance. I'm not going to be listening to a lot of songs today. Short and sweet. I got a ton of stuff. I've been already working on a ton of stuff today. We're moving and grooving. I gotta keep things a bit more concise today. So let me get MBD Braun just so I have it on my list, and then I'll check it off since I'm about to listen to it. If you would like to submit your music, if you want to be maybe one of the last ones to close us out or not, doesn't matter. We're going to be chilling either way. If you want to submit, go to my profile, click on the link, and then read through and follow the details there. Check the line on the other platforms, which are open right now because we're closing things out pretty quickly here. So if you want to submit, you can. But it's going to be short and sweet. But these are 20 to 30 minute consultations. It's not a quick review. There's no ratings. There's no polls. There's no trash or pass. It's 20 to 30 minutes per song. It's a detailed breakdown. We go through your song multiple times to really dive into the details of mix, production, sound design, lyric and format, stuff like that. If that's something that you have in your records, we're gonna dive deep into it. We're gonna dive deep. All right, we've got. Let's see. I'm looking for the email. There it is. I got you. Brand new band out of LA. Let's get it. Let me open this up right here. We got it on Spotify. Beautiful. It's loading. Let's give it a second. All right. This is, where's the song? Thank you for the follow. Little Blue Song. I appreciate that. All right. This is Movie by Slackr. Let's get it. Remind me really quick what it is that you do. Remind me if I haven't heard your music before. I think I have. I'm pretty sure I have. But remind me if I haven't. If it's fresh to me, let me know. I just see a lot of names and it can get confusing sometimes. If I have heard your music before, just remind me what you do, the role that you play in your music. If you're fresh to this live, for one, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it a lot. And let me know. Again, the role that you play in your music. Let me know the role that you play in like building out your production, your mix, and stuff like that. But this is Movie by Slackr. Let's run it. Beautiful. Let's go. So your management for Slackr. Beautiful.
She got a brand new job, the same old friends, and it's so profound. They don't.
If you happen, I'm going to start it over. If you happen to know anything, dude, I love it. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that. It's a good manager. Let me know if you happen to know anything about some of the process. If you don't, perfectly fine. Doesn't really matter to me. If you happen to know anything about the process, let me know as far as like how they're tracking. Are they producing this themselves? Is it a YouTube beat or however it may be, right? Or however that might work out for them. All right, let's run it from the top. All live recorded.
She got a brand new job, the same old friends, and it's so profound. They don't make sense, but they don't stop talking, all just sound the same. She got a brand new car, the same old clothes, and she keeps her keys under her nose. And I spent too long thinking about it today. Oh, we had just begun. a movie, I'll be the villain, you be the star, and baby, we make a killing. And all of
Did they make it themselves?
For the camera, we'll blame on the writing, spend our time in Savannah, probably for the taxes. We move out to Texas. If you want a car, I'll go and get you a Lexus. But dice in the mirror, the fuzzy and pink one. If you need a coat, I'll go and get you a mink one, darling. But I woke up stoned, intoxicated somewhere in Brooklyn in my friend's basement, and all the lights are dimmed and I'm insane.
Good gang vocals.
And so I'll start my day.
Beautiful.
Just keep walking. I'll pop some pills to keep from balling. I'll ride the trains and hope to see your face. Oh, we just begun. Every time I turn my TV on, I think about what I've done. But if my life was a movie, I'll be the villain.
Good dynamics.
You be the star, and baby, we make a killing. And all of the fighting would be for the camera. We'll blame on the writing, spend our time in Savannah, probably for the taxes. We move out to Texas. If you want a car, I'll go and get you a Lexus. But dice in the mirror, the fuzzy and pink one. If you need a coat, I'll go and get you a mink one, darling.
Is he playing? Thank you for the follow.
You be the star, and baby, we make a killing. And all of the fighting will be for the camera. We'll blame on the writing, spend our time in Savannah, probably for the taxes. We move
Great
out to
gang
Texas.
vocals there.
If you
Beautiful.
want a car, I'll go and get you a Lexus. Put dice in the mirror, the fuzzy and pink one. If you need a coat, I'll go and get you a mink one, darling.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Julie, thank you for the follow. If you want to submit music, go to my profile, click on the link, and then just read through and follow the steps there. But please check the line first. I only have time for one more song. So whatever the last song up on the board is after this one will be the last one of the night. So check the line over on the other platforms that we're live on right now, and we'll close it up maybe with one other song. Otherwise, I'm going to get off and keep working on other stuff. I've got an influx of projects right now, so I gotta stay focused and stay concise. But y'all, please show some love to Slackr. That's Slackr. Their manager, NBD Braun, is right here in the chat, so please show them some love as well for sending this in. Beautiful, beautiful structure. There's so much that I love about this. So it looks like they're a band, right? Let me see. I'm looking for some things here. Not just a lead vocal. It's actually a full band. It's really, really well done. Nicely tracked. Great mix. Love the mix. It's super vibrant, incredibly dynamic. A lot that I really, really like about that. Chevy80, welcome in. Scotch, appreciate you being here. Jan, welcome in as well. I appreciate you joining. Looking at this here, looking at their Spotify right now as well. Is it Sid or CID? Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it a lot. Jan, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Okay, one quick recommendation. This is not necessarily the point of this live stream, but as far as some of the things, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Just breaking down what's actually here on Spotify. One of the things I would highly, highly, highly recommend is making sure that they have a bio on there, especially if they are a band. Because that was one of my first questions in landing. Obviously, most people, 99% of people are going to be finding that through algorithms, right? Whether that's social media, whether that's Spotify's own algorithms and playlists and stuff like that, and discovery playlists and things like that. Since that's how a lot of people are going to discover them, I would really, really recommend that you have a description on there. There's a lot of SEO involved in it. Missing bio is something to clear. 100%. Yeah, 100%, Dan. A lot of people don't realize that there's SEO involved in that bio as well. You can even tag other artists on there. So if there are other artists that they enjoy listening to, that they mirror their song after, you can actually tag, like if you type @ and then that artist name, you can actually tag the artist in your bio on Spotify. And that can also create through lines and like through links to those artists as well. So if there's someone who happens to find this song and then they click on whatever, I don't know, some other artist in this vein, and they follow that artist over there to the Spotify gods, that is creating a thread between that artist and this artist here. So then like, oh, other artists that also like this other artist, might like this band as well. Now, if that happens at scale, they got 3,000 monthly listeners, crushing it. But if that happens at scale and you start getting 10, 20, 30,000 people coming through, the Spotify doors here listening to their music, those threads really matter because those are going to be linking in algorithms. So when there's a modern punk rock playlist or, modern pop rock playlist out there that people are listening to that has hundreds of thousands of listeners, you want them to also be targeting bands like this, right? So definitely make sure that you fill out. You also, on Spotify, you get 1,500 characters. Use them all. Use them all. 1,500 characters where you can optimize SEO for obviously the artists that are close to them, the styles that they enjoy, some, inspirational artists and bands that they looked up to, where they're located, where they grew up, some of their story, where they're performing, all these kinds of, like, if they're working on an album, keep that updated on Spotify for artists. Like, I know this is not about promotion and stuff like that, but just because it is a big deal, make sure that that's filled out on their end because it can make a big difference. Like Dan said, everything's SEO. Everything is SEO, so definitely keep that in mind. But let's run it back because that was my first question when I saw their picture and I was like, oh, I think they're a band. I didn't realize they were a band at first. I'm like, oh, they're a band, and then I scrolled down and there was no information on the band, and I wish there was a little bit of that for me to take in. And again, this is stuff that is optimized for the core fans, right? Maybe a lot of people will never see that, but the people that really get invested in this band, they're the ones that are going to care, and they're the ones that aren't getting that solidification, right? And so that's. Anyways, sidebar there, a little bit of a side tangent there. You'll also see it in the translation. Thank you for the follow. You'll see it in the translation of like monthly listeners to followers of people that are sticking. You know what I mean? Like people that are sticking, like they have 3,000 monthly listeners and 168 followers, right? So there's not a lot of, there's people that are finding their music, whether through this format and playlist and paying for distribution or whatever it may be. Like they're finding their music, but they're not sticking. They're not staying. They're not like following and engaging and really being a part of that system. Give them all of the information in the world to make sure that happens. CS Music, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, I can maybe address a little bit of that. I got to move fairly quickly here. Anyways, okay, let's move past that and let's get back into the song itself because that's the thing that we're here for. But yeah, everything is SEO, and thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate that. Let's run it from the top. Let's dive into it.
Got a brand new job, the same old friends, and it's all.
One thing I really like about the song, again, we've already gone through it, but one of the things I really like about the song is the hybridization of like really natural organic tones in here from like the acoustic guitars, live drums, a little bit of room, and then gang vocals and stuff like that with a really, really tight pocket synthesis, tuning on the vocals. Like there's a really cool hybrid between like very like modern production structure and a lot of like organic texture and stuff like that, which I think is executed really well. Sometimes there's a disconnect in that and it just feels weird when people do that. In this case, it feels really connected. It feels really in line. I like it.
Profound, they don't make sense, but they don't stop talking, all just sound the same.
I love that.
She got a brand new car, the same old.
Really quick, I think it's Julie. No, it's for anybody. I'm about to close the line actually. Julie, let me know if you're in the chat. What am I talking about? In the chat. I got to close things up because I only got one more song. Just keep in mind, that's why I try to tell people, I know it's hard for me to communicate sometimes as I'm going through the live and stuff like that. But when you're submitting right now, I always try to make sure that people check the line on the other platforms on YouTube and Twitch, just so you can see the minimums and stuff like that. Since it's a very short live today, I have to keep it really concise. So the minimum was 15. So I do have that you sent in. Let me know if you want me to save that for the next live, which might be tomorrow afternoon. I'm not positive. I've got to see what my schedule looks like here. Or let me know if you want to add the 5 and I'll get you up in line and you'll actually close this out today. You'll be the last one. Just having trouble going through this. Okay, no worries. But yeah, so I got the 10 through the website. So just let me know if you want me to save that 10 or if you want to add the 5 through the same way that you did. And then the only other step you have to do is send it to the email, which is the email is just above that. It's like the one of the first steps at the top. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for tapping in, CS. Okay, let me get a little deeper into this. I just wanted to make sure I got that taken care of. I appreciate you so much. Good vocal structure.
Oh, we just begun. Every time I turn my TV on, I think about what I've done. But if my life was a movie, I'll be the
like just great dynamics. It feels wide. It feels open. It feels incredibly, incredibly well structured. Like the mix just feels very, very vibrant. A massive double track on the guitars right there. Thick, juicy drums. I love it. It's awesome. It hits in all of the ways that you really want it to right there. Sounds great. And it's a very prolific engineer, so that makes all the sense in the world. But they're executing really well. It's like the engineer can only fix and mix so many things. They're doing a really good job of tracking. It's great execution on the vocal side too.
The star, and baby, we make a killing, and all of the fighting will be for the camera. We'll blame on the writing. Spend our time in Savannah, probably for the taxes. We move out to Texas. If you want a car,
what's up,
go and get you a
What's up, dude?
Put dice in the mirror, the fuzzy and pink one. If you need a code, I go and get you a mink one, darling.
Dude, what's up, Waves? It's so good to see you, brother. I hope you're doing amazing. I hope you're doing amazing. Thank you for the bubble. Thank you for the bubble gum, bro. Dan, to your question real quick. Yeah, line is closed. Line is closed. We got 4 songs today, and that's it. Short and sweet. Short and sweet. Short and sweet. In and out. I got a ton of work I got to get to. Dan, who's the most knowledgeable streamer on distribution? I need to find someone. I don't know. I got to be honest with you, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to dive too deep into this. I don't trust anyone. So I don't know. I think there's, yeah, I don't know. That's my answer. I guess that's my bullet pointed answer. There's some people that talk about it. There's some people that probably know a lot. I also know a lot about a lot of people on here, and also for that reason, I'm very like shy about sending people places. So like, there's some people I've seen on here that I think know some stuff. Seems like they know some stuff, but then I've also seen that 4 months down the road turn into a bunch of bullshit. Admin for creatives is amazing. Okay, tag them in, if you have their if you know their profile, tag them in the chat. No, I got you, Julie. I made sure that you're good. If you have the 5, then I'll make sure that you're good to go. Yeah, so I know like, yeah. So look, I know Danny. I actually helped Danny. I helped Danny. We hopped on a call a couple years ago, and I helped him get started in streaming. He wasn't streaming before, and I helped him get started actually with some of his streams. So I know some of his background. I know he knows some stuff. This is always the bridge of. There's a lot of people that don't know anything that are doing and saying a lot. So they don't really know what they're talking about, but they're doing and saying a lot. And then there's also a lot of people that know a lot. They do have the credit. They do have the artists that they've worked with. They do have all of the right things, right? They do have all the right things in order, but they're not very informative and helpful. So there's a really interesting gap on live streams, and there's not a lot of people bridging the middle. It's tough. Like, so like I know a lot of people that are just don't really know much about music at all, but they're loud. They're very loud about their opinions. And then I also know some people like that, maybe like a lot of other people that some of y'all are talking about and stuff too, where like they do have the credibility and they do have all the stuff, but they're just like, yeah, it was a dope song, man. Like, keep doing your thing. And you're like, well, I sent it to you because you're the guy, like, cause and whatever. So anyways, and that's, so that's my loose answer to that. And we'll get back into it doesn't always translate. And so, yeah, I don't know. There's some people out there. Your face is very unenthusiastic, bro. Is it because you are an Arsenal supporter? It's not. If it's unenthusiastic, then it is probably just because I have been working on music for 13 hours, and my ears are tired. All right, let's keep it rolling. I also thought my face was like fairly enthusiastic. I'm a little hurt. That's what I'm talking about when we're talking about gang vocals. It's a great execution of it. Okay, sounds good, Tip. Sounds good, man. I got you. I don't know when I'll be on next. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. Not positive. Yeah, it's been a long day. I've been working through. I had two mixes two mixes that I had finished, but I had to get through revisions on two of those. Those each took like another like hour and a half of revisions on both of those. And so that was another, 3-4 hours of revisions on those two mixes. And then I started a fresh production. It's a big production. It's going to be a really heavy track of production. And so I started that. That was most of the day, 5-6 hours or so of reading that, and then hopping on live for, hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that. So, I mean, all good things. I'm not mad. All good things. All while trying to like remember to my ADHD brain where I'm like, I forget to eat. My wife gets on me something. We were both divergent, I guess, whatever the hell. But if someone wasn't like if I didn't have like alarms set and stuff, I would just forget to eat. I would just like make music for 13 hours and be like, oh yeah, I feel disgusting and sick because I haven't eaten in 9 hours and I just forget. It's brutal. What's up, Dizzy? What's up? Good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing. I'm doing pretty good. Welcome in. Yeah. Anyways, so it's good. It's good. I'm working on good stuff and it's fun and I enjoy the work, but that's if I look enthusiastic, that's why. Your face is glowing and fabulous. Don't let them play with you, Waves. I appreciate you, man. That's coming from the king of skincare right there too. So I appreciate it a lot. I read it enthusiastically about your full caffeine IV drip of musical knowledge. Let's go, man. I appreciate y'all are awesome. All right, let's keep this moving. Let's keep it moving. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. And I'm also just working in the studio doing stuff in here too. I'm selling a ton of stuff. Like I've sold a bunch of guitars. I'm selling a lot of things and getting a lot of new stuff in. So there's a lot of trade-offs that are happening in here. So it's messy because of that. So I'm constantly rewiring and repositioning and reworking in here. I got all my guitars mounted on the wall. I got these amps positioned here, but I'm like selling this amp because I'm getting a different. I want to buy my Vox back again. I used to have a Vox AC30, so I want to get that back in here again. So I'm selling my Fender because I'll use a Vox a lot more. I'm selling my drum set because I want to get a new vintage kit in here. I said new vintage, doesn't make any sense. I want to get a vintage kit in here, even though the one I have was already vintage. But anyways, I want to get a different one. So and then I sold some synths. I'm getting some new synths in here. Sold some rack gear. I'm getting some new rack gear in here. So yeah, it's all over the place in here. It's a little bit all over. Yeah, you sold some stuff too, Tep. What have you let go of? I'm going to ask you experience with minimal audios, and if you do. What do you think about it? Minimal audios? I'm not sure if I know exactly what you're referring to.
Oh, we just begun. Every time I turn my TV on, I think about
nice. Oh yeah, I know the bee's knees.
But if my life was a movie, I'll be the villain, you be the star, and baby we make a killing.
San Antonio.
And all of the fighting will be for the camera.
Thank you for the follow, admin. I appreciate you.
Spend our time in Savannah, probably for the taxes. We move out to Texas. If you want a car, I'll go and get you a Lexus.
Thank you for the heart, man. Appreciate it.
In the mirror, the fuzzy and pink one. If you need a coat, I'll go and get you a mink one, darling.
Woo! Come on. This is a great example of a perfect trade-off of lead information. This is when you're working with great engineers, this is a lot of the stuff that you're looking for. A bit of a hike, Dan, just a hop, skip, and a jump. Thank you for the rose, admin. Appreciate you so much. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate that. I need to make sure I give you a follow too, so give me a second. Let me make sure I... Beautiful. Boom. I got you. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. But this is a beautiful example on the engineering side. Again, this guy works with Doja Cat. He's awesome. But like, this is a really good example of trade-off of information where you have a good, clean lead vocal, oftentimes supported by stacked gain vocals, which again are off tune, off beat strategically, right? You're off the mic, you're recording in the center of the room, you're giving yourself space, you're giving yourself depth, and it creates this almost like house party feel to the song, which I think is beautiful. It's really, really well executed. And then trading that information for the lead guitar. It's not like maintaining a bunch of ad-libs and vocal lines and forcing a guitar over the top of the mix where the mix just gets noisy and annoying to listen to. This is a great example of a good, clean lead guitar line here that really fills out the middle of the mix, so you're not missing anything when the guitar comes in. A lot of times when you hear this trade-off, the vocals leave the mix and maybe a guitar comes in, but it's too weak, or it's not full enough in the chorusing or whatever it may be. And because of that, you have this dive. In information. But in this case, that guitar is forward, it's punchy, it's chorused beautifully. Absolutely love it. What mic do you use to record? If you're talking about, I have a bunch of different mics, but if you're talking to record, I'll say 9 times out of 10, it's the mic that I have right here, which is a Neumann M147 II, which I love. I'm obsessed with this microphone. I think it's fantastic. It sounds amazing. But I have a bunch of other, I've got 7Bs. I've got, another Neumann TLM102. I've got a bunch of dynamic mics that I'd use for drums and pencil condensers and stuff that I use for other instruments and stuff like that. So it just depends on what I'm recording. But if it's vocals, 9 times out of 10, it's the M147 tube, which I love. I've thought about selling it before to get something else, but I don't think I will. I'll probably hang on to this for a while because I really enjoy it. I already answered you, Fiveman. When you first came in. There's those stacks, some of the gain vocals that are coming in a little bit looser in the structure. I love it.
Be the star and baby we make a killing, and all of the fighting will be for the camera. We'll blame on the writing, spend our time in Savannah, probably for the taxes. We move out to Texas. If you
Filtered
want
out.
a car, I go and get you a Lexus. Put dice in the mirror, the fuzzy and pink one.
Slide automation on the cutoffs.
I go and get you a mink one, darling.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Y'all show some love, man. That is Slackr. That is Slackr. That is Slackr. Or if it's not a 1073, it's a red preamp. I really like the Chandler TG2. I think the best preamp that I've ever heard. I thought about getting one. I'm going to get a different preamp in here soon. I was looking at getting the TG2 because that's one of the best that I've ever heard. The TG2 with the EQ, I think, is one of the best sounding vocal preamps on the market. Obviously, the 1073, you have the TG2. Dude, I love it. It's so good. It's so freaking good. It sounds amazing. But yeah, anyways, that to me is probably like my North Star, but they're just expensive, man. They're expensive. Yeah, the red is great too. Obviously, the red has less control without the EQ, but you could also patch in like a Pultec or something if you needed to, because the TG2 is kind of a Pultec stylish EQ. But it's like I think it's one of the best sounding preamps on the market, and not the 1073, which is also fabulous. Is just talked about more because everyone in pop and hip hop and R&B use it. And because those are the most popular songs, those are the ones that you hear about all the time. But the TG2 and the Chandler Red, like those are gorgeous. Those are gorgeous preamps. They sound so good. They sound so good. I would love to get I have an X73i and the Distressor, the Crime. That's the Vintech. Is the Vintech the X73i? And a Distressor. The Crime is that I don't use that much. Yeah. If you're not doing a lot of like. Yeah, the Vintech. Okay, good. Yeah, the Vintech. I know a couple. I know Kara uses a Vintech 73. I'm bouncing between getting either a Neve or a BAE. I might go the direction of a BAE because it sounds more like the vintage. Just the transformers are more similar to the vintage ones. So that saturation and breakup, which is the reason why you have it. It's the point of having it. The BAE is apparently more like the vintage 1073, which is why everyone actually likes the 1073, not necessarily the SPX. Anyways, that's a sidebar. We don't have to get into that. The SPX is awesome. It's pretty fantastic, but I do think the BAE is better in some ways. It's just people want to get the need for the name, which I get. I totally understand that. I've done that before many times. But y'all, please show some love for Slackr. And also a huge shout out as well. To, hold on, I got to run. Where'd the name go? I'm getting too many comments. Let me see. I missed it. Oh, I can't see the name again. Let me see. Hold on. I'll try to bring it back up over here. DB and Braun. It was DB and Braun, I think. I was like, wait, where'd they go? I was trying to find the name again. Yeah, show some love to Braun. I appreciate you so much for setting this in. That was their manager that came in as well. And then Julie, I did get your email. Let me know if you're able to send that 5 or if you would rather me save it. If you want me to save it, I can add your name to my list and I'll put the credit on my list as well. I can save it for a different time, or let me know if you want to add the 5 and then we'll close it out with you. Totally up to you. There's no pressure at all. If you want me to save it for the next live. I'll never listen without you. I'll always make sure that you're here for your breakdowns. You never have to worry about like missing out on your chance or anything like that. Hey, sounds good, Waves. Love and appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for tapping in today, man. I appreciate it. I also used to have a newer Neve DPA and didn't like it. No, the dual channel. I prefer the TG2 to the BAE. It used to have a B. Yeah, I think the TJ2 is like the best. I think the TJ. Yeah. We'll run it right now. You'll close this out right now. Yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure I asked, because if you get up on the board, you'll close this out today. You'll be the last one. Or if you want to save it, we can. That's up to you. What's up, Miranda? it's better because of time. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you. I'll give it a second. I'll give you a second. No worries at all. SA2A the last week. Yeah, I've heard good things about the stem. I've also what was the other one? There's another one that I was looking at getting. So I got some stuff coming in. I wish I could afford to go a little bit. Higher end, but it's not in the cards yet. Spend too much money on synths to spend more money on rack gear for stuff that I don't use it. Kind of like Dan was talking. The things that I use all the time. The things I think I have your email, Julie. I have your email. I was talking about the 5. Because it's a 15 minimum at the end here. I was talking about the 5. I do have your email though. I spend extravagantly on the things that I use all the time. From obviously most of y'all know that's synths, right? So I like having synths. I like having vintage synths, analog synths, hardware, rack stuff like that. That's stuff I really like. I don't do a ton of bringing in artists into the studio and tracking them. Now, I do all of my work for my production, for sync work, synth, session stuff, session music stuff. I do all of that remotely and people just hire me remotely and I send them files, right? So because that's the case, and I'm not bringing people into the studio all the time to track for their album and things like that, more often than not, I'm not investing a ton of money in that. If I was booking studio time in this house that we're in, if I was just booking studio time, then, maybe I'd invest in a CL1B and a SPX, 1073 and whatever, just because that would be something that would be valuable for tracking people consistently, just vocals and stuff like that. But for me, everything that I have in the studio has been purpose built for what I need. So I have one really, really solid bass amp, a really solid 1,000-watt 410 bass amp with a tube hand. It's a Hartke. Sounds amazing. I love this thing. This Hartke head is a beast. Great tube amp head with a massive, a massive amp here. I've got a nice 410, it's a 60-watt tube amp Fender. It's a Fender DeVille tube amp. So I have just solid things. I'm if I need to go to a tube amp, I've got that. If I need to go direct, I have good options. If I'm recording vocals or tracking vocals or something, I have a good tube amp or good tube mic, a couple other good direct mics, and another Neumann. If I have guitars, I have my Stratocaster. I have a Schecter if I'm going more rock and metal. I've got the Gretsch if I'm going a little bit more jazzy and need a hollow body. I've got a Dean over there, stuff like vintage Dean and stuff like that. That to me is what's more interesting and more fun. Just having purpose-built stuff. Let me get you. Let me see. I think I just saw it. I think I just got notified. You are set. Yes, I got you. We're gonna close it up with Julie. What do you run the synth through? Just direct? It depends. I have them going. I'm selling this mixer right now. I had it's not even an expensive mixer. It's an $800 mixer. It was a Mackie Pro 22 Pro FX 22 V3, something like that. It was a 22 channel mixer. I was running that for a while. I've had other small summing mixers where I'll send all of the synths into a summing mixer and then just send a stereo out into the DAW or into my interface. But right now I don't have anything plugged in right now because I'm moving everything around. What I'm going to be doing is running them all into. I'm going to run everything into a patch bay. It's hopefully going to be here this next week. I'm going to run everything into patch bay and then have some of my other effects units racked up as well so that I can just patch and move some things around. So if I want to run into a Studio D chorus, an actual analog unit or a 646 spring, actual mechanical spring reverb, I can patch all that and run it right there. But then I'm just running it straight into my interface. From there, I'm not running them into any preamps, any other converters outside of the interface converter. And the Arturia interface that I use is just built for synths. It's got great conversion, super sleek, super it's streamlined. I love it so much. And I have 16 ins in the back on that one. Direct line, so I can just run direct line from there if I need to, out of the patch bay. And then I also have another 8 out right now that is that I have an 8 at that I run my drums into. So I'm not taking up any inputs with my drums because I'm running 8 channels out to a snake from my 8 at preamps right there. So I get 8 channels that I just run for that. I use an Arturia Audio Fuse. Yeah, they're awesome, dude. $1,300. So I have the 16 rig. the Rack 16 rig. $1,300. I think it's the best interface for the price. It's phenomenal. Clean conversion. Tons of ins and outs. Dude, I love it so much. I love it so much. Thank you for the follow, Infinity. I appreciate it. Or Infinite. Thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot. Okay, let's get into it. We're going to close it out, y'all. This is our last one of the day. Julie, you are closing us out. I appreciate you so much. It's on Spotify as well. It's put up on YouTube. This is Dodelle. Am I saying that correctly? I do want to make sure that I say it correctly. This is the last one, y'all. I got to get out of here. I've got tons of work I got to do. So I'm trying to move quickly and get through some stuff fairly quickly. But this is Vipers by Dodelle. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Give me all of the details. Talk to me about your role in this music, if any. Talk to me about what I'm listening to and the structure of it. Any details that you have on the creation of it, I would love to know. Let's pull it up and we'll close it up here. I'm the singer-songwriter. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
You paint the picture, make us the fools. Play the cards, bending the rules. My shadow shifts when light grows dim. Pretty face, but smile so fake. Beneath the surface lies that suffocate. You twist the truth, you sharpen the
Dude, it's been crazy, Mark Hill. It's been crazy. Good to see, man. I know you've been working, you've been driving, going crazy. Cool music video too. Yeah, really high quality music video. That's cool.
Your whispers echo through the halls, spreading poison, hoping I'll fall. Life's too bad for you, I'm not alone. How do you feel when you're all alone? How do you feel when you're all alone?
I can imagine, man. I've been working late, like I had to start a bunch of projects this week and trying to finish up stuff too as well. Close some doors, open new ones. It's been chaos.
Vipers in the skies, you thought that I was blind. Your daggers won't tear me apart. Won't tear me apart. I can wear the scars, but you fear me in the dark. Such a pity, emptiness is all you have. Why so scared? I'm not as scared to die.
Got you. Not at all. I love it. Okay.
How do you feel when you're all alone? How do you feel when you're all alone? How do you feel
All right, background vocal. All right.
How do you feel when you're alone? Vipers in the sky.
Did y'all go to a studio to track this and get it mixed?
Your daggers won't tear me apart.
Really pretty voice. It's a great contrast to the heaviness of the music.
Such a pity, emptiness is all you have. Why so scared? I'm not as scared to die. Not as scared to die.
I like that.
Not as scared to die.
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 Yeah, we're closed for today. I might be live again tomorrow, though. I appreciate y'all joining.
We rise above your steady gaze. Won't bow. Take the blame.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all, please show some love. Show some love. Show some love. That is closing us out today. That is Dodelle, I think. I hope I'm saying that correctly. The song is called Vipers. I'm assuming based on the video that you have here that the song is out on all platforms. Let me know if it is. I think it is. And if it is, please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go run up the numbers, go give them some love and support, and go stream Vipers. Let's get into it. Let's get into it really quick. So there's a couple quick things that I want to dissect here really, really quickly. One of the things that I mentioned that I really, really like about the way that y'all are recording this and the way that you're structuring it is also one of the pain points of your mix, right? So I love the contrast between, we're in D sharp minor here. So this, most of the song, dun, 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 dun. Like that's most of the progression here. Most of like the way that you've built this out is really, really heavy production, and you have a really like soft, breathy, higher range in your vocal. Again, both things are beautiful. I love the aim of that contrast. What you have to be careful of with that is if the vocal can compete in the mix, right? If it can actually hold its own when you have, 9 mics on a drum set and, huge, stereo overheads, double to quad tracked electric guitars with the lead and a distorted bass, like all of these, heavy elements, a scream vocal in the background for accents, and then like a mono singular, vocal that's a little bit brighter, a little bit breathier, that sits a little bit quieter in the mix. So that's one of the things that's going to be challenging for you. The way that you can help compete in the mix is by layering tastefully and doing that strategically. Especially on your hooks, I would definitely have a double of your vocal, not even just harmonies, because I think there's some harmonies in the background, but I would definitely have a double of your vocal to support it. The amount of energy that gets brought out of a vocal just by having more information in the mix, some support in the mix, is dramatic, right? So even if it's like your same texture of vocal that's still airier and softer, doubling that vocal and actually recording another vocal next to that vocal gives you so much more weight in the mix. It's so much more presence and so much more energy in the mix. So that's one of the things that I wish I heard a little bit of here, because you have this really vibrant, energetic production, and then that vocal kind of feels lonely in the middle of the mix. It's a great vocal and a great production, but I want to make sure that the vocal can compete against these huge guitars, these big rock drums and stuff like that. So that's to me, one of the main elements of this that I want to have a little bit more support. I love that this is pretty raw. It's very organic. Tone on the guitars, I think, are great. The drums sound awesome as well. And most of what's happening in the vocal, I think, is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. I just want to make sure that vocal can hold its own. And right now, it's a little bit lonely. So let's run it from the top. We'll dive into it. For those of you asking about music, we are closed. We are closed. This is our last song. I'm not sure exactly when I'll be live again. Maybe tomorrow or Sunday. I'm just not positive. Video is really cool too. Y'all go check out the song as well on YouTube. Love those low synths, little like Juno stabs in there. You also have, I'm gonna back it up here a little bit. You're getting a bit of like self noise through the microphone. Like the vocals it's very thin and very brightened right here. So you're getting a lot of like self noise from the microphone as well, which is typical. Like this mic right here is noisy. Look, all mics have their own noise, especially if you crank them and compress them, they're going to take on some noise, right? They're going to have some just natural noise from their circuitry. You can hear not a lot of it, but a good amount of that because it's so bright in the vocal right there. So early on right here, what's up, Janet? You hear this at the top of the mix, right? Like, so right at the top of the mix, you get that kind of hiss at the top right there. That's just the noise from the microphone itself. I would use some noise reduction to just that's very easy to take some of that out and clean it up a little bit, and maybe not force. One of the reasons why I think you're having to force kind of over brightening the vocal is so that it could cut through over the top of the mix, as opposed to just giving it support, right? Like we were talking about, like since it is a singular vocal in the middle of the mix, in order to make it, allow it to compete and still, hit the top of the mix, it's a little bit over brightened. So you're hearing some extra sibilance in the vocal, like those S's and T's are a little bit more crispy than I would like them to be. You hear some of the noise in the background. So for me, what I would love to do is soften that high end of the vocal a little bit. I would love to maybe even tighten up the compression a little bit. I'd love to pull some of that self noise from the microphone, like pull that noise floor out just a little bit and just start to slowly, and there's a couple notes in there I could agree with, a couple notes in there that I think could be polished a little bit. I still want it to be raw. I still want it to be very organic, but there's a couple little notes that maybe are a little bit flat that we can just kind of nudge into place to make it a little bit smoother. I just want to kind of polish that vocal structure right there and then give it a double so that it has some weight in the mix. Maybe not in the verse, but at least on the hook, if that makes sense. But you can start to hear the in the background of the mix. That's just that noise that needs to be pulled out right there too. Now, noise is it's relative, right? It depends on what the song is, right? Like sometimes noise is fine. Sometimes I add noise to a song, right? Like I'll add noise filters. There's a synth behind me called the Juno 106. It has a classic chorus on it. And that chorus is really, really noisy. It's like back and forth. It's pretty crazy. But it's part of the character of that synth, right? So there's sometimes where it makes sense, right? There's sometimes where it's adding a little bit of something to the mix. Actually, we put in a little plug in that part. Do you know what the plugin did? Come on, play. There we go. That's true, Zeus. That's true. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like a vinyl plugin in the background. Okay. I think that's what I'm hearing, right? Yeah, there's like some vinyl crackle. A little vinyl noise in the background. Okay, so in that case, so for me, the vinyl noise, right? This like tape noise in the background right here. This is a little bit of a taste thing, so take it with a grain of salt, right? There's just from an engineering standpoint and a production standpoint. That to me makes the most sense if the production is representative of the source of it, right? So if I'm making like a lo-fi hip hop beat, you know what I mean? Or like a maybe like a 90s R&B record or like some 80s synth stuff. Like if I'm doing some like lo-fi house or something like that, I'll sometimes add like RC20 or something like that, and I'll add some like vinyl noise and some crackles and stuff like that. Yeah, 100% Tep. Like I'll add some of that crackle and some of that noise in the background, but I'll also like saturate everything and filter everything down. That's like it's very like representative of like I ran it through tape, so it has some tape noise, or I ran it like I'm playing a vinyl and it has some crackle in it and stuff like that. That is like representative of it. This is a very high fidelity production though. So this is strictly a production choice, right? Of like a taste choice. Where this production is like really like clean and high fidelity. Like these guitars, when we get into it, like like this is a pretty like clean, double tracked, high fidelity song. So in my opinion, the like added noise right there doesn't make a lot of sense, being how you're representing the rest of the production. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So in my opinion, I wouldn't necessarily add I'm in on production. We're close, Zeus. We're close. Right here. We're closed. I'll be live probably within the next couple days or so. So that's to me. Maybe we should make lo-fi metal, right? Yeah. So for me, the noise, that's the reason why I thought it was just the noise of the instruments or the microphone that could be taken out. That's something I would just be aware of. And we talk about this all the time of like making sure that your production and your mix is like pointed in the same direction, right? Like when you're going for a particular sound where you're like adding low fidelity noise, like tape noise, saturation, like vinyl crackle and stuff like that, but then have like a really like bright, open mix to the rest of like your vocal and stuff like that, right? Like it's very open, it's very bright, it's very transient. Everything's like, it doesn't represent running through tape in any way necessarily. Then you get a little bit of a disconnect in the way something sounds and how it's represented in the mix. And that's kind of what I'm digging into here just a little bit. I would be really selective with when you introduce noise like that. That to me is what to me matters most. Is like just making sure that like there's nothing about the way that you're writing, the way that you're performing, the way that you're producing at the source, the way that you're mixing, that disconnects you from what you're doing, so that when you're singing, people are experiencing your vocal and experiencing your songwriting and stuff. It feels cohesive. It feels like really clean and really connected. That's my goal, right? That they feel every ounce of emotion coming from the mic and coming from the instruments, and there's nothing that disconnects you from that. Or like, oh, that feels fake. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel connected to the rest of the song. I feel it's missing saturation on vocal. Yeah, there's definitely some things within the vocal structure itself. I think it'd be polished a little bit, like we talked about a little bit before too. This is the best music review stream I've seen. So in depth. Is it Criff? Am I saying that correct? Criff? Am I saying that correctly? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's why these are like, we don't do any like real review, ratings, polls, trash or pass, nothing like that. These are 30-minute consultations. So when people book on here, we just live stream their consultation. So they book about 20 to 30 minutes. We go through the song 2 or 3 different times, and we go as in depth as is beneficial to the artist or producer and stuff like that. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in today. All right, let me skip forward a little bit here. We're closed. We're closed. So like right in here, again, drum structure, I think sounds really, really good. Double track guitars are wide, they're heavy, the bass is clean and mono. Like there's a lot of the production structure sounds really clean, sounds really sharp. And most of what your vocal is doing as well, and the writing of it is doing what it's supposed to do. It just doesn't have like dynamic control that much. Like we already talked about some of the other polished things. And a lot of this is on the engineering side, not even necessarily on your performance. It feels like a pretty good performance. I think a lot of this has to do with the engineering, dynamic control through compression, making sure that there's not any of that harshness or abrasive frequency on the top end, some pitch control in there, and then a double of that vocal. When we're da 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 da, when we're hearing these melodies, like I want to feel a little bit more of the energy out of it, even if you have a softer vocal to create contrast. And I think that both of those things are important. We don't rate, Adam. I appreciate you tapping in. We don't rate any songs here. That's not what we're doing. There's no ratings, no polls, nothing like that. These are detailed, long form consultations, and we are closed. Great secondary vocal too. Like I love bringing in some fry screams as well. I think that's a great opportunity to like increase energy and give it a lot of vibrancy right there. I think that's a really, really great dynamic shift in the song. I love that so much. Y'all, we're closed. I need to make this bigger or something, because I get more people asking about their songs and rating it, and so many people asking about rating. I get more people asking about songs as soon as I say that we're closed than ever before. I don't rate any songs. It's not what this live is at all. There's no ratings. There's no polls. There's no trash or pass. We don't listen to popular artists. All of it is said in the opening text. But anyways, we are closed. We'll be live another day. Tep can rate them. Go to Tep. Tep will rate your songs gladly. I know he would. Gladly. Let's go, Julie. Y'all are talented. Y'all are obviously very talented musicians and writers and stuff like that too. So all of these like super detailed things that we're talking about have nothing to do with the fact that y'all are great at what you do. There's a lot of things that are happening that take a lot of talent, that take a lot of insight and intuition. The way that you're building your structure, it is dynamic, it is well tracked. So all of that stuff you got down, a vast majority of what I'm talking about has to do with the audio engineering. Okay, so we're not getting listened to. So mute and mute. Boom, muted. Beautiful, awesome. All right, let's get back into it. And like right there, again, taste. This is a taste thing. This doesn't necessarily, I mean, you can do, obviously, creative, you can do whatever you want to do with your song. So this is just a taste thing. You have this beautiful buildup of energy. You go in, you dip into the, and then you fall out, right? And then it's gone. It leaves the mix right there. I would have loved to hear the projection of your vocal right there for a little bit longer. I'll take the blame, and let it ring like a little bit of a lift right there, as opposed to it falling off the mic and losing that vocal in the mix to the next line right there. I would love to hear that and and hear that in the mix, full projected right there. And that's one of those moments where like it's a difficult note to hit. Obviously that's high. If it's a challenging note to hit, that's one that you like maybe comp in, you give it a bunch of different shots, you try it a couple different ways, or you make sure there's like a way to like lead in. Sometimes another thing that you can do is you start to match that melody with the guitar. So when you're hitting that note, you actually match the melody that you're reaching for with your vocal with the guitar to transition into the next part right there with the lead. Like there's things that you can do to make that vocal really supported and really powerful right there. But I wish we got a little bit more out of that vocal transition right there, because you do reach and you dip into that note right there. You dip into that hard, like, it's a high D sharp. It's a high D sharp at the top right there. When you reach into that note, it just then falls out really quickly. And I know it's a challenging note, but that's where I would like spend some time, do some vocal warm-ups, do a couple comps of that vocal to get a really powerful lead, because it's one of the climaxes of the song. And then we don't quite get that full projection of the vocal. And I wish there was a little bit more of that. But you do have a really, really powerful voice. So I'm excited to hear more of that as well. Talked about it a lot, but it was already done, but it would be even better. 100%. And also take all of this with Sussy, I see you. Sorry, I just saw you on the other pub. Yeah, we're closed for today. I'll be live maybe tomorrow. If not in a couple days, maybe Monday or something like that. I appreciate you tapping in. Thank you for being here though. Take some of this with a grain of salt, and also take it to your future records, right? This song is out. It's doing what you want it to do. You wrote it. You did all the fun stuff, right? So push the song, promote it, get it out to people, celebrate it, all of that stuff. Take a lot of like the doubles of your vocal, the dynamic control, the processing, layering of your vocal, projecting those high notes and following through with them. Take all of that just into your next record, right? A lot of these can just be tools that you take into the kind of the next part of you working on your music. You also show some love. Show some love. I appreciate you so much, Julie. Thank you for your patience. I'm glad we were able to close out the live with your song today as well. I appreciate you so much for sending this in. Y'all, please go show some love and support to Julie. That is Dodelle, I believe, is the name of the band. Vipers is the name. I love it. And if anything, I can kind of affirm what you are already feeling so that you really can dig into that the next time y'all are producing a record. Go stream Vipers. Go stream Vipers. And I'm excited to hear some new stuff y'all are working on, as well as you're building out a little bit more of what you're doing. Please show some love. The song is out, so go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go follow on Spotify and other DSPs, so on and so on. Give them some love and support. Go boost their algorithm. That is going to close this for today. I will be live again within the next couple of days. I just don't know when. I'm just working too much. So I do these live streams after I finish up my projects for the day and my work for the day. So for me, it's very random. Yesterday was like 5 hours. Today is 2 hours. If we go live tomorrow, who knows what it'll be. I appreciate you so much, Julie. I appreciate you tapping in. Quick spiel before we get out of here. For those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I am a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done that for 14 plus years. If you ever need those services, shoot me a message. I don't promote myself during the live. This is about your music, but at the end, I'm just, shameless plug. If you ever need those services, just shoot me a message on Instagram, TikTok, something like that. I'll do my best to get back as soon as I have the capacity to. You can also reach out to our website through the contact form as well. You can find that at my link. But if you ever need session work, I do a lot of synths, like hardware, analog synths, keys, piano, stuff like that. So if you ever need hardware, analog synths, you need electric, acoustic, bass guitars, you need live drums, you need vocals, that is what I do. If you ever need a full-scale producer or a mixing and mastering engineer, then definitely reach out to me, shoot me a message. I'd be more than happy to talk about your project, see if it would be a good fit, see if we would click stylistically and creatively, and then of course talk budget and timeline and stuff like that. All right, let's get out of here. Y'all, do you do it long distance? I mean, do you mix and edit? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I do. Everything that I do, I have a production studio in my house, or this house that we're renting, but I've built out a full production studio here. So I do all of my work completely remotely. I don't necessarily bring anyone in here. I play all instruments. So I do all of that myself here, and I do all of the editing and mixing here myself as well. So yeah, if you're in a different city, different state, different country, I'd be more than happy to help you out in any way that I can. But yeah, shoot me a message on Instagram. Sometimes is easier. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Hopefully we'll see y'all very, very soon. Peace.